Great. So we're making an invoicing, expensing, pre-accounting application for small businesses in Turkey. Why we're doing that? There are 3 million small businesses, 3 million businesses that are under 10 employees. All of them are managing their expenses by paper and pen, at best Excel. They have no visibility in terms of the way they're operating, their profitability, their growth, their cash flow. And as you guys know, anyone who's operating business in Turkey, it's horribly complicated. There are a lot of regulations, a lot of challenges to be able to operate your business in Turkey. There are traditional box models out there, box products, but they cost $10,000 or more. They require IT servers to set up. They require 16 hours of training or more to get going. So it's not a viable solution at all for small businesses. And Turkish accounting, as you know, only addresses taxation. It doesn't actually address the managerial reporting that businesses need. So we want to solve this with a subscription-based, easy-to-use cloud solution. Just to give you an idea of how horribly complicated it is to do business in Turkey sometimes, invoices must be printed on government-issued paper with specific criteria. They cost $5 or more to issue. There are more than 10 steps. It takes more than 5 days just to issue, send, and receive an invoice. And at the end of all this work, you still don't get any analytics at all in terms of how your business is performing. There are about 1.7 billion invoices issued yearly in Turkey. 95% of Turkish businesses are under 3 employees. That's more than 3 million. We're going to be targeting the services guys first because they have lower requirements. And then we're going to move on from services guys to retail and distribution guys. One more thing, there's a strong tailwind in the fact that the government is going to digitize everything. So within 2 or 3 years, all the business transactions are going to be done digital on the cloud. What we're going to do is we're going to start with invoice and expense tracking, or expense creation. We're going to go process this data to give businesses the insightful analytics they need. And then we're going to start working on integrations to printing, to e-invoicing, to banks, to payments, to accounting, so we can complete the one-stop shop, complete solution for small businesses. If you think about invoicing, you usually do business with someone you already trust. As you send out an invoice, it's a natural way to spread our business. So we're building as much virality into the business as possible. If you look at our business model, we have a combination of inside sales, inbound marketing, SEM, all the traditional channels to grab the guys, funnel them through our invoicing funnel, and try to build out as much virality into the product as possible. Our team, I am the former CFO of a startup. I worked at Endeavor Turkey, worked in private equity investment banking in the US. So I have about 10 years of experience in finance. My partners are Andaç and Fari. Andaç is the technical co-founder of several startups, and he's had 10 more years in the ERP industry. Fari is a designer. He's well known internationally, and he teaches at Sabancı and Bilgi universities. We've been in open beta since January 27th with 500 users. We raised financing from Revo and Ribbit Capital for our seed round, and we're looking to raise Series A by this year.
I mean, very well with the timing. Almost there.
I think this whole pitch could be about 30 seconds and much more effective. You have what I like to call the product manager disease. You want to tell, you spend so much time thinking of all the features that you want to tell everybody about every single feature. So think about it this way again. The whole point of this pitch is to get everybody interested in coming and talking to you more, right? Your goal is to raise Series A, so you want slightly bigger than angel investors to come and talk to you. So when you come and, well, the strongest part that you have, you kind of just mumbled at the end, that you actually have users, 500 users, and you have a pretty strong team, right? You should probably put much more attention on that. And this is a very simple, who's the customer, what's the problem? I'm surprised, I'm not aware of all the Turkish finance laws. But it's a pretty simple pitch. People have this very big problem that they have to do all this manually. They can do it electronically. It's going to save them X amount of time per week, per month, X amount of money, period. There's no software solutions, and in the rest of the world, there is a software solution. That's it. That's your whole pitch. You don't need to go into all the features. You need to go into virality, etc. You might want to talk about your business model. How much is it going to cost? Who are you going after? A little bit more detailed. You know, is it mom and pop? Is it mom and pop, or is it really service businesses? That's kind of give an idea of what's an average customer worth, and how in general you're going to pursue them.
And how you're going to do it in a scalable way. I would be a little bit concerned, so my background is online marketing, right? And so the virality piece, I know you stress it, but I don't know if I'd focus a ton of time and effort on just pushing that one out, because when I hear virality, it's basically the shortcut of someone who's actually never done marketing. And so it's just my opinion. The other thing is just with the slides of just like, I would actually strongly recommend that you get like a professional designer to actually go through it. So you have a lot of the stuff here.
We're going to have a better version for the actual final one.
Yeah. I mean, all the elements are there, right? So I don't think when I look at when your explanation of the business, the problem is like, oh, totally no-brainer, I totally get this. It's just, I think this is one of those slides that, these are all the slides that are basically made to be sent like in a deck of somebody to read, not necessarily one that you're going to present.
These look more like academic slides.
Yeah.
Like, have you taught?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we actually encountered a person in the last batch that was like 20 years, professor 20 years, and his slides were like academic slides for a 4-hour lecture. Completely different approach than an onstage pitch where everybody has to like glance and in 2 seconds understand the slide and look back at you.
Yeah. Because keep in mind, right? There's what, 60 companies, 70 companies pitching? How many? So it's like, you have to stand out against these, right? And so this is just something to keep in mind. It's just the slides is your tool, and even at a very basic element of just like, okay, have they put the time into it? Not to say you haven't put any time into this, but just like the UX elements actually, is actually very important, because many of us, I see probably at least 100 a week, right? And you imagine some of these guys have been doing it much longer. They're like, the minute you see that, they just kind of glance over. It doesn't matter how sexy the business is. A lot of times this is just one more thing, one more barrier you're putting in front of them. Okay. But otherwise, all right, totally get it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next.